So don't date.
Just that. Hey everybody, my name is Onalee Gordon and welcome to the Velvet Couch. Today on my show I have my lovely best friend from high school, Kay. Hello. Hello. I hope everybody is doing amazing today. Today on the show we are going to be discussing love and dating, which, as we know in our generation, it is rough in these streets.
Amen.
All right.
With that being said,
Let's get to the question. So, the first question is, what does love mean to you?
wow, that is such a good question, Onalee. What does love mean to me? I don't know. Wouldn't know because I haven't been in love.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I mean, honestly, I get that though, because I can't say that anybody that I've been with so far that I've ever said I love you to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'll know when I'm in love when I'm the one. That,
Right.
Because a lot of the people that I've been with, sometimes they're like really quick to say it. And I'm like, I've known you for like 2 weeks. Okay? So, I don't know. Love to me is like, it starts off as like a friendship first.
Definitely.
And it's someone that you're like willing to grow with. And you're accepting of all of their flaws. And it's just not like so like gray area, because I know some people want to get in like relationships and stuff to show face on social media, or just because they think they need a person in their life right now and they're not ready, or because they're bored.
Yeah.
A lot of the times people just want someone to like boost their esteem, and I feel like that's wrong, because I'm like, you just wasted that person's time, especially if they were looking for something serious. But like, yeah, I agree. It's kind of hard to define love, especially when you haven't experienced it yet.
Right. I mean, I think love means a lot of different things. Like, I think love is an accumulation of a bunch of small things. Like, you know, it's how somebody makes you feel, and it's, you know, appreciating someone for, you know, everything that they are and like how they impact you and better you. You know, I think love, it's, you know, it's a two-way street. You know, I feel like it's hard to know what love really is when, you know, you're not receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I personally, you know, it's hard to always understand if you're really feeling love with somebody or if you're feeling, you know, like content or enjoyment, you know. But I think love is a deep connection that you have with someone or something, you know, because of appreciating what it is.
Yes, I totally agree. Also, for me, sometimes it's hard to define love because I've personally never been in love. I've had people tell me that they love me, but it's just like hard because I'm like, I feel like I'll know what love is once I find that genuine connection with somebody, and I haven't had that genuine connection with somebody yet. So
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Have you ever personally been in love?
Wow. I mean, I think it's really easy sometimes to mistake love for, you know, other things. And I guess personally, and that's weird to admit, but I don't think I really have, you know, because like what you were saying earlier, you know, I've never felt such a deep bond with someone. I mean, because when you think of love, I mean, obviously I love my family, I love my, you know, my friends, but, you know, if we're talking about like in a relationship, you know, sometimes you see a person and they fulfill a need, they fulfill, you know, an emptiness that you have, but that doesn't always mean that that's love.
Right.
You know?
I totally agree on that too, because I found myself in positions where I felt like I needed to be in a relationship and that I needed to be in love and that I needed this and that, and it's just like, I'll know when I'm ready. And a lot, like right now, I've really been trying to work on myself, because it's like, yes, I do want a serious relationship, but I also need to be ready for that to happen before I just like try to start, going out and like looking for that. So yeah, again, never been in love, but like,
love yourself first.
Period. What do you look for in a relationship?
I think what I look for specifically in a relationship is somebody that will challenge me and better me. You know, it's not someone who, I mean, obviously someone who appreciates me, but also, you know, we can have a conversation, we can laugh together, we can grow together, you know, not complacent and, you know, also willing to grow with me. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you want if you are joining. If you're getting in a relationship, you know, I think you have to, why are you doing that? You know, if not to try to start a life together. And I mean, that's my viewpoint on relationships. I mean, of course there are other things to it, but I personally, you know, want someone that I can grow old with and grow from and learn from.
I totally agree. Like the same thing. I want someone that I can build with, because there's a lot of the times when I get into a relationship with somebody and I feel like I'm just giving more than I'm receiving, and I don't like to be in those types of situations. Like I was telling you about this guy I was with who was trash, and it like was very draining, and at one point it was just kind of like, I don't want to deal with the male species anymore. But
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I got to do some personal growth first. Okay, this is a good one. What are some red flags in relationships that you
Oh my
notice?
goodness, red flags. So I think from the get-go, what can we talk about on the show?
Nothing
Is this like the BBC? Like we can't like...
No, you can talk about anything. This is whatever you're comfortable with.
I think... Okay, so if you understand your own boundaries and if you know what you want, which, you know, I feel like to start a solid relationship, you should. I think, again, like, know yourself, take time for yourself. Once you know what you're looking for, I think if somebody is not respecting those boundaries and someone is too quickly pushing you to a direction you don't want to be in, like, obviously you want to be challenged and pushed, but I think, you know, that is a huge red flag that, you know, there might be a lack of communication, a lack of understanding, and a lack of commonality.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is a huge red flag for me when I start, like, you know, going on some dates and, like, immediately, you know, we're not on the same page about, like, things and, you know, where we want to go in a relationship, or, like, you know, and you lack that common ground. I think that's a huge red flag.
A red flag for me is, I mean, I'm pulling from personal experience, having a fucking kid and not telling me, and
Yeah.
trying to pass it off as your niece.
Yeah. Wow.
But if I had to not pull from like that specific person, I mean, I would have to agree. I'd probably say not being on the same page, because it's like, oh, I want something serious, and you're just looking to sleep around and be like, oh, well, I'll call you up when I'm bored and I want, you know, a little. But I'm like, no, and I want to just cuddle and watch movies. You want to get nasty, and no, I don't. Like, if we're not on the same page, then at that point, I'm just like,
Yeah.
bye. Another question that I did want to ask, though, because it is COVID times, how has dating been like for you during a pandemic?
It has been oddly stressful. Like, I feel like there's so many, like, dating, there already feels like there's barriers. Like, especially in New York. I mean, I don't want to generalize, but it's so hard to find someone who actually wants a relationship. Yeah, I feel like, especially, like, I know what I'm looking for. And because of COVID now, you know, it really feels like the only way to meet people is, you know, through dating apps or, you know, through Instagram. And, like, yeah, that works, but, like, it's been difficult, and I've been finding it so funny because this is the time when everyone from high school seems to be reaching back out, because I think since everyone's kind of in the same boat of, like, it's hard to meet new people because, you know, you want to be safe, you want to, you know, do your part, you don't go out as much. And so I have been finding my DMs full of high school friends and, you know, colleagues, and it is the weirdest thing to see, like, people. It's been weird to see people. But
just to have them reaching out.
Yeah, no, but, like, people from high school reaching out to me that, you know, you never talked to. And it's like, what do you expect also? You know, now we went to school, not in New York, and we're in New York, and people will be like, hey, like, what you doing? Come over. And it's kind of grimy. Like, I did not love with it.
I had the same thing with people, like, just randomly reaching out to me, because it's just like, oh, well, and I don't know if it's on, like, a thing of, like, oh, well, we kind of talk to each other, so let me just, like, see how life is going, and I don't know. And then even with, like, trying to do online dating, it's really hard because I'm just, like, I don't know where people have been, and I also have people in my family that are immunocompromised, and I don't want to put them at risk because I still want to be able to see them, and I like spending time with my family. So it's just kind of like family or some random person I met on the internet. I'm going to choose my family. And also, I mean, I've just been kind of working on myself. I think this pandemic has helped a lot with me growing on my own. I deleted all of my dating apps actually, because it was just like you go on there, it's the same bullshit with the swiping right and the swiping left, and it's just like I don't have the patience to do that right now. And you get the occasional crazies, like even on the dating apps, I go on there and people always think that I'm like some freak or something because they're like, oh, do you want to be our third? I'm like, no, I want one person. One person. I don't want you and your girlfriend. I'm sorry, I don't. They're like, oh yeah, me and my girlfriend thought you were really cute, like you looking big. No. No.
Can I ask you a question? It's interesting you bring that up because I'm curious to see what you think about it. What do you think about couples who started right before COVID and like now have been together through the entire pandemic? Like, you know, like they started as soon as the pandemic hit and kind of more or less were like forced to like live together, stay together. Like, what is your opinion on that?
I feel like it helped the couples kind of figure out if they were serious about each other or not, because I feel like the people that lasted through the pandemic who were forced to stay together, if it was that situation, it really were forced to come to terms with what they wanted from each other. Like, I know some people may have realized that, you know, maybe a relationship is not what I need right now, or maybe we have a lot of stuff that's not in common and we don't end up really working out, and maybe they just find out that they just want company because it's lonely, obviously, during a pandemic, especially when we were all really, really not going out as much. I say it was like helpful. I mean, maybe it sucked if you just like find out this person that you like wanted to spend so much time with, they ended up not being the person for you, and then you're ended up just like being stuck with them. Hopefully they found some good in that situation and they were able to come out without like killing each other or something. But yeah, I'm fortunate. I don't know what I would do if I was like in a relationship with someone and like the pandemic hit and I just had to end up staying with them, and like come to find out like they were into some weird shit.
Yeah, they just figure out fast.
Yeah. This is another question that I really wanted to ask.
Okay.
I don't know how much dating you've done since being in New York, but like, do you have any horror stories?
Oh my god. Horror stories? I mean, like, nothing like terrifying. Like, I've heard some really good, like, awful first dates, but I mostly just like, I'm pretty quick at clocking that I just don't get along with people and leaving, like, and getting out.
Yeah.
I've not me.
Not me.
What about you?
Oh God. Okay, there was one where literally I probably just like this guy honestly for his muscles. He used to play football in college. Like, he was built. And I was just like, wow. I liked that. And so then the red flag that happened, it was just weird because you're like talking, it was all cool and everything. But like we went back to his apartment. Come to find out, he lives with his mother. He was 25. And you know, I don't have a problem with that, but it's just like he was making it seem like he lived on his own.
You should probably warn somebody.
And I'm like, it's not like he was paying rent. It's his mother's house, right? Yeah. So imagine you bringing little old me over there, and she's like, "Who's this?" And I have to sit there awkwardly in the hallway, like, absolutely not. No, absolutely it was horrible. She was yelling at him, like, "How can you?" I was like,
but this is when you first moved to New York. Oh my god, no,
please. Tinder responsibly, or honestly, don't Tinder at all. It's
Bumble, Hinge.
Bumble and Hinge aren't as bad. Bumble is starting to try to be Twitter. You just gotta really be careful. Not Twitter. What am I talking about?
Twitter.
I swear this is just like tea, lemonade. Yeah, Tinder is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it was just like an awkward situation, and I was just like, dude, I want to just go home. And he was like trying to argue with me to get me to stay. I'm like, this is not your house. And I was like sitting there, I was like, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not disrespectful. Like, I know you're a single mother, my mom's a single mom. Like, I'm not here to disrespect you at all. So I'm just gonna go. And he was like, no, stay. Like, this is not your house. I'm like, yeah, you're living here, but you're not paying for anything. It was just a really awkward situation. And then it just went downhill because he started talking about how he didn't believe in STDs. That's all I have to say.
I avoid this because I'm exposing myself. I just don't really use dating apps. I really don't. And it's actually funny that I bring that up because this week we're setting up a profile. But most of it, I like have to like, it's an event. I'm doing it this week. But, you know, I think like it's really scary sometimes to like put yourself out there, especially on those apps. Like most of my experiences have been through friends or, you know, like Instagram DMs and like things like that. Like people that have made me feel like, oh, you're a connection to a connection, you know, so it shouldn't be so bad. But with that being said, you know, you do limit yourself and you want to put yourself out there, but it's scary because people like that.
Right. I have a bunch. It's like, even we don't have enough time. I'm glad that you went into that too, because even with like dating apps, I've kind of just like, it's a hit or miss type of situation. Because yeah, I mean, do I meet attractive people in my day-to-day life? Yes, but I don't like mixing work with that kind of stuff because I'm just like, then if it doesn't work out,
it can get messy.
Yeah, and you see those people every day, and with the career of acting and stuff, I'm just like, if I'm gonna work with somebody, I don't want it to be like weird. But I mean, I know you gotta put on your little acting face and like do whatever, but I just would rather avoid that altogether. But at the same time, it's just like meeting random people now, especially during like COVID times, because on top of that, it's already weird meeting random people on an app, but then now with like Corona, I'm like, I don't know where you've been. You want to be safe. I'm like, I don't know where you've been at all. So it's just kind of, it's rough. And then especially now with our generation, I just feel like a lot of people don't know what they want. Yeah. And so when they go out claiming they want relationships, I'm just like, I don't think you really do. You just want someone to boost your ego or make you feel better about yourself, or, you know, just get back on your feet. So that you
and look, if that's what you want, like, fine. Like, that's fine. But be upfront about that. And, like, because if you're putting on this persona, hey, I want a serious relationship, that's not what you really want. Yeah. Then, like, now, like, we're not being honest. One person's going to get too invested. Like, listen, there are so many people out there that are, you know, just want, you know, a little ego boost, a little fun, a little whatever. And that's fine. But just don't lie about it. And don't pretend like you want something that you don't just because you want to get in someone's pants, you know? Yeah. That's when the heart gets, you know, too invested. Okay, well, this has been today's Velvet Couch episode with Kate on our take of love and dating. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and please come back for the next episode. Next week, we will be talking about beauty standards. Bye. Bye.